The Discovery Admiral Zekthor stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking at the blue and green planet on the main screen. His 4 eyes moved across the data that appeared in front of him. This was supposed to be another easy mission. Find a new world, check if anyone lived there, and add it to the Galactic Empire. He had done this same job 847 times before. What do we know about this planet? He asked his science officer. It is the 3rd planet from their star, Admiral, replied Science Officer Nemka, her tentacles moving quickly over her control panel. We detect large amounts of water and a thick atmosphere. There are signs of life, Zekthor nodded. Most planets with life were easy to deal with. The beings were usually simple and afraid when they saw the Empire's ships. They would surrender quickly, and then the Empire would add another world to its territory. Are there any intelligent beings down there? He asked. Nemka's tentacles stopped moving for a moment. Yes, Admiral. We detect cities and what looks like simple technology. They have basic vehicles and some small flying machines. They also have primitive communication systems. How primitive? Zekthor wanted to know. They still use radio waves, Admiral. They have not even learned to travel faster than light. Most of them live on just this one planet. There are some small settlements on their moon and a few tiny stations around other planets in their system. Zekthor laughed, a sound like grinding metal that made the bridge crew step back. Another group of planet-bound primitives. This will be finished before lunch. But Captain Veltar, who stood near the back of the bridge, did not look happy. Veltar was from a species called the Kethran, and his people had been conquered by the Empire 50 years ago. Since then, he had served as a scout and advisor. He was good at understanding different species and their behaviors. Admiral, Veltar said carefully, I think we should watch these beings for a longer time before we act. Zekthor turned all 4 of his eyes toward Veltar. Why? What could these primitives possibly do against us? Veltar looked at the data on his own screen. I have been studying their communication signals and the movement patterns of their vehicles. These beings show something unusual. What do you mean, unusual? They seem to work together in ways that most species do not. When there is trouble in one area, beings from far away come to help. They build things that last much longer than they should with their technology. And, Admiral, they never seem to give up. Zekthor waved one of his large hands. Captain Veltar, you worry too much. Every species thinks they are special. These humans are no different from the others. Humans? Veltar asked. Is that what they call themselves? Yes, Nemka said. They use many different languages, but most of their communication uses the word human to describe their species. Veltar looked at more data. Admiral, look at this. In their history, they have fought wars that lasted for years, sometimes decades. They fight even when they have almost no chance to win, and they learn from every fight, becoming better and stronger. All species fight wars, Zekthor said. That proves nothing. But Admiral, look how they fight. They do not just use their strongest warriors. They use everyone, young and old, weak and strong. They make tools and weapons from anything they can find. They hide in places where no one expects them, and they never forget their enemies. Zekthor was getting annoyed. Captain Veltar, are you afraid of these primitives? Veltar stood straight. No, Admiral. I am being careful. My people learned the hard way that sometimes the weakest-looking enemy can be the most dangerous. Your people lost because they were weak. Zekthor said coldly. We are the Galactic Empire. We have conquered nearly 1,000 worlds. Our ships are larger and stronger than anything these humans have ever seen. Our weapons can destroy their cities in minutes. What could they possibly do to us? Veltar looked at the planet again. Something about the way the humans organized their cities and moved their vehicles made him nervous. There was a pattern there that reminded him of something, but he could not figure out what it was. Permission to study them for a few more days, Admiral? Veltar asked. No, Zekthor said firmly. We have a schedule to keep. The Empire expects us to finish here and move to the next system. We will send the standard surrender message tomorrow. Veltar watched the planet on the screen. Down there, billions of humans went about their daily lives, not knowing that their world had been found by the Empire. Children played in parks. Adults worked in their offices and factories. Families ate dinner together. They had no idea that everything they knew was about to change. Admiral, Veltar said one more time, I really think we should be more careful with these humans. Zekthor's 4 eyes glowed red with anger. Captain Veltar, I am tired of your warnings. These humans are primitives with primitive technology. Tomorrow we will demand their surrender. They will give up just like all the others. Then we will move on to the next world. That is final. Veltar said nothing more, but he kept studying the data from Earth. The more he looked, the more worried he became. There was something about these humans that felt different. They seemed to be always preparing for something, always ready to fight. Their whole planet looked like it was organized for war, even during times of peace. He thought about his own people, the Kethran. They had been proud and strong, with better technology than these humans. But when the Empire came, they had surrendered after only a few battles. They had chosen to live under Empire rule rather than fight a war they could not win. But looking at the humans, Veltar was not sure they would make the same choice. Something told him that these humans would fight even if they could not win, and that made them very dangerous. As the bridge crew prepared for the next day's operation, Veltar made a decision. He would prepare his own reports about the humans just in case Admiral Zekthor was wrong. Because if these humans were as stubborn and clever as they seemed, tomorrow might not go as planned. The Empire had rules about conquering new worlds. First, they would demand surrender. If the beings on the planet refused, they would demonstrate their power by destroying something unimportant. Usually this was enough to make the primitives give up. If they still refused, the Empire would begin destroying cities until they surrendered. It was a system that had worked perfectly for hundreds of years. But as Veltar looked at the small blue planet, he had a feeling that this time might be different. This time the Empire might learn that some species do not surrender, no matter what. Tomorrow they would find out if the humans were like all the others, or if they were something new. Something dangerous. Something that the Empire was not prepared to handle. Veltar hoped he was wrong, but deep inside he knew he was not. The ultimatum. The next morning, Admiral Zekthor's fleet moved closer to Earth. 50 massive warships, each one the size of a small city, took positions around the planet. On Earth, humans looked up at their sky and saw new stars that had not been there the day before. "Send the surrender message," Zekthor ordered. The communication officer, a being with 6 arms and bright yellow skin, began broadcasting on all the frequencies that humans used. The message was translated into 17 different galactic languages, though the officer doubted these primitives would understand any of them. "Attention, inhabitants of the 3rd planet," the message began. "You have been discovered by the Galactic Empire. Your world will now become part of our territory. You have 24 hours to surrender completely. All weapons must be destroyed. All governments must step down. All beings must prepare to follow Empire law. If you surrender now, your lives will be spared and you will be relocated to appropriate areas. This is your only warning." On Earth, every radio, television, and computer screen that could receive signals suddenly showed the same message. Humans around the world stopped what they were doing and listened. Scientists worked quickly to translate the alien languages, while governments held emergency meetings. In the United Nations building in New York, world leaders gathered for an emergency session. The main hall was filled with people speaking in dozens of languages, all trying to understand what was happening. "Are we sure this is real?" asked the President of the United States. "Our telescopes confirm it," replied the Secretary General. "There are 50 large objects in space around our planet. They are not natural. Someone built them. What do they want?" asked the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. "They want us to surrender," said the representative from Japan. "They want us to give up our planet and become their slaves." The hall was quiet for a moment. Then the President of Brazil stood up. "Has anyone prepared a response?" An old man with gray hair and tired eyes walked to the front of the room. He was Dr. James Morrison, a retired diplomat who had spent his whole life working to solve problems between countries. The world leaders had chosen him to speak for all of humanity. Dr. Morrison looked at the camera that would broadcast his message to the alien fleet. He spoke clearly and calmly. "To the ships in space around our planet, we have received your message. We understand that you are very powerful and that you have conquered many other worlds. We also understand that you believe we should surrender to you without a fight." He paused for a moment, then continued. "We respectfully decline your offer. Earth is our home. We were born here. Our children live here and our ancestors are buried here. We will not give it up. We suggest that you leave our system peacefully. We do not want to fight you, but we will not surrender to you. The message was broadcast on every frequency humans could use. It reached the Empire fleet in less than 2 seconds. On the bridge of Admiral Zekthor's ship, the communication officer looked confused. "Admiral, I think there was an error in the translation system." "What kind of error?" Zekthor asked. "The humans sent a response, but it does not make sense. It sounds like they are refusing to surrender." Zekthor laughed his metal-grinding laugh. "Play the message again. You must have made a mistake." The officer played Dr. Morrison's message 3 more times. Each time the translation was the same. The humans were saying no. "This is impossible," Zekthor said. "No species has ever refused the initial surrender demand. They are too primitive to understand what they are doing." Captain Veltar stepped forward. "Admiral, maybe we should try to communicate with them more." "Find out why they refuse." "There is nothing to find out," Zekthor snapped. "They are simply too stupid to understand. We will show them our power. That will make them smarter very quickly." On Earth, humans were not panicking the way Zekthor expected. Instead, they were working. In every country, people were packing important things and moving to safe places. Children were taken to underground shelters that had been built during old wars. Factories that made weapons began working around the clock. Scientists shared information about the alien ships as quickly as they could. Captain Veltar watched all of this activity through the fleet's sensors. "Admiral, look at this. They are not running around in fear. They are organizing." "Organizing for what?" Zekthor asked. "They have no weapons that can reach us. They cannot even leave their planet without our permission." "I do not know, Admiral, but they are doing something. Look at these patterns." Veltar showed the Admiral images from Earth's surface. Humans were moving in organized groups. Military vehicles were being positioned around important buildings. Civilian aircraft were flying to remote areas. It looked like the entire planet was preparing for war. "They are bluffing," Zekthor decided. "They want us to think they are dangerous, but they know they cannot fight us. We will show them how wrong they are." Zekthor ordered his weapons officer to target Earth's moon. The moon was not inhabited, so destroying it would not kill any humans. But it would show them the Empire's power. "Charge the main plasma cannon," he ordered. "Target the larger moon." The weapons officer, a creature that looked like a giant spider, worked quickly. "Cannon charged, Admiral." "Ready to fire. Fire!" A beam of pure energy shot out from the Empire flagship. It traveled the distance to Earth's moon in seconds. When it hit, the moon exploded in a flash of light that could be seen from Earth even during the day. Pieces of rock and dust spread out in all directions. On Earth, humans watched their moon disappear. Many people cried. Some people prayed. But most people just got angry. Dr. Morrison was asked to send another message to the Empire fleet. This time his voice was not calm and polite. This time he sounded like every human who had ever been pushed too far. "You just destroyed our moon," he said. "Our moon that gave us light at night and controlled our oceans. Our moon that our poets wrote about and our lovers looked at together. You destroyed something beautiful that had been with us since the beginning of our history." He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was cold and hard. "We warned you to leave peacefully. You chose not to listen. We told you we did not want to fight, but we would not surrender. You chose to attack us anyway. Now you will learn why every human parent teaches their children these words. Do not start a fight, but always finish it." The message ended with just 2 words, spoken in a voice that somehow made Captain Veltar's blood run cold. "Don't us." "What does that mean?" asked the communication officer. "I think they made an error," Zekthor said. "They meant to say don't underestimate us or something like that." But Veltar was studying the human communication patterns more carefully. He had noticed that humans often left out words when they were very angry, or when they wanted to sound threatening. Sometimes they said things that did not make complete sense, but other humans understood them perfectly. "Admiral," Veltar said quietly, "I think they meant to say exactly what they said. Don't us. As in, don't attack us or don't push us or don't make us do what we will do if you keep pushing." "What could they possibly do?" Zekthor asked. "We just destroyed their moon with 1 shot. They should be begging for mercy." Veltar looked at the sensor readings from Earth. Instead of begging for mercy, the humans were working faster. More vehicles were moving. More aircraft were in the sky. And something else was happening that made him very nervous. "Admiral, I am detecting energy signatures from around their planet. Small ones, but there are many of them. What kind of energy signatures? I am not sure. They are very faint. But Admiral, there are hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Sekthor was getting tired of Veltar's worrying. Captain, they are primitives with primitive technology. Stop seeing monsters in every shadow. But Veltar could not stop worrying. In his experience, when a species was about to be conquered, they either panicked or gave up. They did not calmly organize themselves and start generating energy signatures all over their planet. The humans were doing something. And whatever it was, Veltar was sure the Empire was not going to like it. On Earth and secret locations all around the planet, humans were indeed doing something. They were preparing to show the Galactic Empire that some species fight back, no matter how big and powerful their enemies are. The Empire had made their demonstration of power. Now it was humanity's turn. The first strike, Admiral Sekthor waited exactly 24 hours after destroying Earth's moon. When no surrender message came from the humans, he ordered the attack to begin. Target the largest human cities, he commanded. We will destroy them one by one until they give up. The first target was Tokyo, a city with over 30 million humans. Sekthor expected to find millions of panicked beings running in every direction. Instead, his sensors showed something that confused him. Admiral, reported Science Officer Nemka, the city appears to be empty. Empty? That is impossible. Yesterday there were 30 million humans there. I am detecting very few life signs in the city center, Admiral. Most of the buildings are still there, but the humans are gone. Sekthor ordered his fleet to check other major cities: New York, London, Beijing, Mumbai, São Paulo. All of them were the same. The buildings were there, but most of the humans had vanished. Where did they go? Sekthor demanded. Captain Veltar was studying the sensor data carefully. Admiral, I think they went underground. I am detecting large tunnel systems under many of these cities. The tunnels connect to other tunnels. It looks like the humans have built a second world under their planet. Impossible. Our intelligence reports said they were primitives. Admiral, our intelligence reports were wrong about many things, Veltar said quietly. Before Sekthor could respond, alarms began ringing all over the bridge. The tactical officer, a creature with too many teeth, shouted over the noise. Admiral, multiple contacts approaching from all directions. On the main screen, hundreds of small ships appeared. They were coming from behind asteroids, from the other planets in the system, and even from the destroyed pieces of Earth's moon. The ships were crude and ugly compared to Empire vessels, but there were so many of them. How many? Sekthor asked. Over 2,000 ships, Admiral, and more are appearing every minute. Sekthor could not believe what he was seeing. How did primitives build so many ships without us detecting them? They must have been hiding them, Veltar said. Scattered around their solar system, powered down so our sensors could not find them. The human ships were small, about the size of a single Empire fighter. But they moved in patterns that Sekthor had never seen before. Instead of attacking in formation like proper military vessels, they swarmed like angry insects, all ships. Open fire, Sekthor ordered. The Empire fleet began shooting their powerful plasma cannons at the human swarm. Each shot could destroy a human ship with one hit. But for every human ship they destroyed, 2 more appeared. And the humans were not trying to win a normal space battle. They were doing something much more dangerous, Admiral, the tactical officer screamed. They are ramming us! Sekthor watched in shock as human ships flew straight into Empire vessels. The humans were using their own ships as weapons, crashing them into Empire hulls and engines. It was insane. No civilized species fought this way. Why are they destroying themselves? Nemka asked. Veltar understood. He had seen this kind of fighting before. In the old stories his people told about their most desperate wars. They are not destroying themselves, Science Officer. They are trading their lives for strategic damage. Look at what they are targeting. The human suicide attacks were not random. They were hitting Empire ships in specific places. Engine sections, weapon arrays, communication systems. The humans were crippling the Empire fleet even as they died. This is barbaric, Sekthor said. Civilized beings do not fight this way. Admiral, Veltar said, I do not think these humans care about being civilized right now. More alarms sounded. The communication officer reported that several Empire ships had lost contact with the fleet. The weapons officer said that the main plasma cannons were overheating from continuous fire. And the tactical officer had worse news. Admiral, they are using our own weapons against us. What do you mean? Some of the human ships are carrying pieces of our destroyed vessels. They are using our plasma cannons as bombs. Zekthor looked at the battle display. The Empire fleet was supposed to be destroying the human ships easily. Instead, the humans were like a swarm of deadly insects, stinging the Empire fleet to death one bite at a time. But the worst surprise was still coming. "Admiral," the long-range scanner operator called out, "I am detecting massive energy buildups on the planet's surface." "What kind of energy buildups?" "Unknown, Admiral, but they are very large." Suddenly, beams of energy shot up from Earth's surface. They were not as powerful as Empire plasma cannons, but they were hitting Empire ships with perfect accuracy. The humans had turned their entire planet into a weapon. "How are they targeting us so precisely?" Zekthor demanded. Veltar was studying the human communication patterns. "Admiral, they are coordinating their attacks across impossible distances. Their ships are talking to each other and to the planet's surface in real time." "That is impossible. They do not have faster-than-light communication." "No, Admiral, but they have something else. They are using mathematical patterns to predict where we will be. They are calculating our movements faster than we can change them." Zekthor was beginning to understand that this battle was not going the way Empire battles usually went. "How many ships have we lost?" The tactical officer checked his screens. 17 ships destroyed, Admiral. 23 ships heavily damaged. And Admiral, we have only destroyed about 400 human ships. 400? There were over 2,000. Yes, Admiral. And more keep coming. I am detecting launch signatures from 12 different locations in their solar system. Zekthor realized that the humans had been preparing for this battle for much longer than anyone thought. They had built ships and weapons and hidden them all over their solar system. They had planned for the Empire to attack and they had been ready. "Admiral," Veltar said urgently, "we need to retreat and call for reinforcements. The Empire does not retreat from primitives. Admiral, these are not primitives. These are warriors. And they are winning." As if to prove Veltar's point, 3 more Empire ships exploded on the main screen. The humans had somehow gotten inside their shields and were attacking from close range. Empire crews were reporting that human soldiers were boarding their ships and fighting hand-to-hand in the corridors. "How did they get aboard our ships?" Zekthor asked. "They are hiding inside the wreckage of their own destroyed ships," the security chief reported. "When we bring the wreckage aboard for analysis, the humans come out and attack." Zekthor could not believe what he was hearing. "They are hiding inside their own dead ships?" "Yes, Admiral. In special protective suits. They wait until they are inside our hulls. Then they come out and start destroying our systems from the inside." This was beyond anything Zekthor had ever encountered. These humans were not just fighting for their planet. They were fighting like every single one of them was a trained soldier, ready to die for their cause. "Admiral," the communication officer reported, "I am receiving a message from Earth." "Put it on the main screen." Dr. Morrison appeared again, but he was no longer in the United Nations building. He was in what looked like an underground command center, surrounded by humans working at computer screens and communication equipment. "Empire fleet," he said, "you have seen what happens when you attack us. We do not surrender. We do not panic, we fight, and we are very good at fighting." Behind him, Zekthor could see screens showing the space battle. The humans were tracking every Empire ship, every movement, every attack pattern. "You destroyed our moon," Dr. Morrison continued. "You tried to destroy our cities. You thought we would be afraid. You were wrong. We are not afraid. We are angry, and angry humans are the most dangerous things in the galaxy." The message ended, but Zekthor could see that the humans were preparing something new. Energy readings were building up all across Earth's surface. "Admiral," Veltar said quietly, "I recommend we withdraw to a safe distance and wait for reinforcements." Zekthor's pride would not let him retreat. But as he watched another Empire ship explode under human attack, he began to understand that pride might not be enough. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. Every asteroid could hide ships, every planet could have weapons, and every human seemed ready to die fighting rather than live as a slave. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Zekthor was facing an enemy that fought harder when things got worse, not easier. An enemy that got more dangerous when it was hurt. Not less dangerous, an enemy that kept its promises. The battle was far from over. But Zekthor was beginning to realize that the Empire might have made a serious mistake when they decided to attack Earth. These humans were not like the other species the Empire had conquered. These humans were something new, something dangerous, something that was going to teach the galaxy a lesson about what happened when you pushed the wrong species too far. The hunter becomes the hunted. 3 weeks after the first battle, Admiral Zekthor was no longer confident about anything. His fleet had retreated to the edge of the human solar system, and he had sent urgent messages requesting reinforcements. The Empire High Command had responded by sending 2 more fleets with a total of 150 additional ships. Surely this will be enough, Zekthor told himself. No primitive species can stand against 200 Empire warships. But Captain Veltar was studying intelligence reports that made him very worried. Admiral, we have a problem. What now? The humans are not staying in their solar system. Our scout ships have detected human vessels in 3 nearby star systems. Zekthor looked at the reports.
How is that possible?
They do not have faster-than-light travel. Admiral, they do now. Veltar showed him recordings from Empire scout ships. The videos showed human vessels moving between stars at speeds that should have been impossible for their technology. But the ships were definitely human in design, even though they were now equipped with engines that looked like they came from Empire technology. They are using our own engines, Veltar explained. They took them from the ships we lost in the first battle and somehow learned to build them. In 3 weeks? It takes our engineers months to build those engines. Yes, Admiral, but the humans are not our engineers. They learn differently than we do. The reports got worse. Human ships had been seen near Empire supply convoys in 4 different star systems. 3 convoys had gone missing completely. When Empire ships arrived to investigate, they found the convoys destroyed and their cargo gone. They are stealing our supplies, Zekthor said. No, Admiral. They are studying our supplies. Look at this. Veltar showed him recordings from a convoy that had survived a human attack. The human ships had not tried to destroy everything. Instead, they had carefully taken specific items. Advanced computer systems, weapon control units, shield generators. They are learning how our technology works, Veltar said. And then they are building better versions. Better versions? That is impossible. Admiral, remember that these humans have never had to follow Empire regulations. Our technology is designed to be predictable and controllable. Human technology is designed to be effective and deadly. As if to prove his point, alarms started ringing again. The fleet's long-range sensors had detected something approaching. What is it? Zekthor asked. Unknown ships, Admiral, the sensor operator reported. They are not using any engine signatures we recognize. On the main screen, 12 ships appeared. They were definitely human in design, but they looked nothing like the crude vessels from the first battle. These ships were sleek and fast, with weapon systems that glowed with unfamiliar energy. Those are not the same ships we fought before, Zekthor said. No, Admiral. These are new. And Admiral, they are sending us a message. The message came from a young human woman in what looked like a military uniform. She spoke clearly and calmly, but there was something in her eyes that made Zekthor uncomfortable. Empire Fleet, she said. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Human Defense Force. We know you are waiting for reinforcements. We know you plan to attack our home again. We are here to give you a new choice. She paused, then continued. Leave our solar system now and never return, and we will let you go in peace. Stay here, and we will show you what we learned from studying your technology. The choice is yours, the message ended. Zekthor laughed, but it did not sound as confident as before. 12 ships against 200? They must be insane, Admiral, Veltar said quietly. Remember what happened the last time you thought the humans were insane. Before Zekthor could respond, the 12 human ships suddenly split up and began moving in patterns that defied everything the Empire knew about space combat. They moved independently but somehow coordinated their actions perfectly. Each ship seemed to know exactly where the others would be at any moment. How are they doing that? The tactical officer asked. I do not know, Veltar admitted. But Admiral, I recommend we take their offer and leave. Absolutely not. All ships attack formation. Destroy those human vessels. The Empire fleet moved to engage the human ships, but as soon as they came within weapons range, the humans did something impossible. They disappeared. Where did they go? Zekthor demanded. I do not know, Admiral. They were there, and now they are not. Suddenly, explosions began erupting throughout the Empire fleet. The human ships had somehow become invisible and were attacking from inside the Empire formation. Shields up. Return fire. But the Empire ships could not target enemies they could not see. The humans appeared just long enough to fire their weapons, then vanished again. It was like fighting ghosts. "Admiral," the damage control officer reported, "we have lost 16 ships. The humans are targeting our engines and weapon systems specifically. How are they making themselves invisible?" Veltar was studying the sensor readings. "Admiral, I think they are not invisible. I think they are moving faster than our sensors can track. That is impossible." "Admiral, we keep saying things are impossible, and the humans keep doing them anyway." The attack lasted only 20 minutes. But when it was over, the Empire fleet had lost 37 ships. The human ships had taken no damage at all. They reappeared in formation exactly where they had started. Captain Chen sent another message. "Empire fleet, you have seen what our new ships can do. This was a demonstration. Next time we will not target just your engines and weapons. We will target your life support systems. You have 1 hour to begin leaving our solar system." The message ended. Zekthor was finally beginning to understand that the humans were not bluffing. But he could not retreat without orders from Empire High Command. "Send a message to headquarters," he ordered. "Tell them we need immediate reinforcements. Tell them the humans have developed new technology that we do not understand." But before the message could be sent, the communication officer reported something that made everyone on the bridge go quiet. "Admiral, I am receiving reports from other Empire fleets throughout the galaxy." "What kind of reports?" "Admiral, 17 different fleets are reporting attacks by human ships. The humans are not just in the solar system. They are everywhere." Veltar felt his blood turn cold. "Admiral, how many humans are there?" "Intelligence estimated about 8 billion on their planet," Zekthor said. "No, Admiral. How many humans are there total, including the ones who were not on their planet when we first attacked?" Zekthor had never thought about that question. Empire intelligence had focused on the humans living on Earth. But what if there were human colonies that the Empire had never detected? What if humans had been exploring the galaxy longer than anyone realized? "Admiral," the communication officer said urgently, "I am receiving a priority message from the 7th Fleet in the Antares sector." "Put it through." The message was from Admiral Korthuk, one of the Empire's most experienced commanders. But Korthuk's usual confidence was gone. He looked frightened. "All Empire forces," he said, "be advised that human ships have appeared in the Antares sector. They knew exactly where to find us. They knew our patrol schedules and our communication codes. These humans are not primitives. They have been watching us for a long time." The message got worse. "The humans are not just attacking our military ships. They are making contact with species we have conquered. They are teaching our subject peoples how to build weapons, how to fight back." "Admiral Zekthor, whatever you did to anger these humans, you have started something that is spreading across the entire galaxy." The message ended. Zekthor stared at the screen in shock. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. No one had ever successfully rebelled against Empire rule. But now human ships were appearing everywhere, and they were teaching other species to fight. "Admiral," Veltar said quietly, "I think we made a mistake when we attacked Earth." "What do you mean?" "I think the humans were already exploring the galaxy. I think they already knew about us. And I think they were preparing for this war long before we found their planet. That is impossible. Our intelligence would have detected them. Admiral, our intelligence missed everything important about these humans. Why should this be different?" Captain Chen sent one final message. "Empire fleet, your hour is up. You can leave now, or you can find out what our main battle fleet can do. The choice is still yours." For the first time in his career, Admiral Zekthor gave the order to retreat. The Empire fleet turned and began moving away from Earth's solar system. As they left, Zekthor realized that everything had changed. The humans were no longer defending their planet. They were hunting the Empire throughout the galaxy, and everywhere they went they were teaching other species that the Empire could be defeated. The hunters had become the hunted, and Zekthor was beginning to understand that the Empire might have started a war it could not win. The warning spread 6 months after the first contact with Earth. Admiral Zekthor stood in the ruins of what had once been the Empire's greatest military base. The Fortress of Eternal Victory, which had never been successfully attacked in 500 years, was now a burning wreck floating in space. The attack had come without warning. Human ships had appeared from nowhere, supported by vessels from 12 different species that the Empire had conquered over the centuries. The battle had lasted only 4 hours, but it had destroyed everything the Empire had built in this sector. How many bases have we lost now? Zekthor asked Captain Veltar. 47 major installations, Admiral. And over 300 smaller outposts. How many fleets? 18 complete fleets destroyed, Admiral. 26 more fleets have reported significant losses. Zekthor looked out at the debris field that had once been the Empire's proudest achievement. Among the wreckage, he could see human ships working alongside vessels from the Kethran, the Vorthaki, the Zindari, and half a dozen other species. They are all working together, he said. Yes, Admiral. The humans have done something we thought was impossible. They have united our former subjects against us. How? These species have been under Empire rule for generations. They should not even remember how to fight. Veltar had been studying the reports from across the galaxy. Admiral, the humans did not just teach them to fight. They taught them to remember. What do you mean? The humans went to each conquered world and found the old histories that the Empire tried to erase. They reminded each species of who they used to be before the Empire came. They showed them that freedom was possible. On the main screen, Zekthor could see a human ship docking with a Kethran vessel. The two crews were working together to repair damage from the recent battle. It was a sight that should have been impossible under Empire rule. Admiral, the communication officer reported, we are receiving a transmission from Earth. Put it through. The screen showed Dr. Morrison again, but he was no longer in an underground bunker. He was in what looked like a massive space station, surrounded by beings from dozens of different species. All of them were working together on what appeared to be battle plans. Admiral Zekthor, Dr. Morrison said, we meet again. How do you know my name? Zekthor asked. We know many things about you, Admiral. We know about your military record. We know about your family on the Empire homeworld. We know about your doubts regarding this war. Zekthor was shocked. How could you possibly know about my doubts? Because Captain Veltar is not the only member of your crew who has been sending us information. Zekthor turned to look at his bridge crew. Several of them would not meet his eyes. You see, Admiral, Dr. Morrison continued, the Empire is built on fear and force, but our alliance is built on hope and choice. When people have a choice between fear and hope, they usually choose hope. What do you want? Zekthor asked. We want to offer you the same choice we have offered to thousands of other Empire officers. Join us and help us build a galaxy where all species are free, or continue to serve an empire that sees you as nothing more than a tool to be used and discarded. I am loyal to the Empire. Are you? Or are you loyal to what the Empire used to represent? Before it became corrupt and cruel? Dr. Morrison gestured to the beings working around him. Every species here was once part of an empire or federation that promised peace and prosperity. But power corrupts, Admiral. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. The Galactic Empire stopped serving its people long ago. Now it only serves itself. Even if that were true, you cannot defeat us. The Empire has ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. The Empire ruled through fear, Admiral. But fear only works as long as people believe they have no choice. We have shown the galaxy that there is always a choice. On the screen behind Dr. Morrison, Zekthor could see a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed Empire-controlled systems. Blue dots showed systems that had joined the human-led alliance. There were far more blue dots than red ones. As you can see, Dr. Morrison said, the Empire is no longer the dominant power in this galaxy. Every day, more systems choose freedom over slavery. More species remember what it means to govern themselves. This rebellion will fail, Zekthor said, but his voice lacked conviction. The Empire will send more fleets. We will crush this alliance. With what fleets, Admiral? You have lost half your ships in 6 months. Your subject species are rebelling faster than you can suppress them, and your own officers are beginning to question whether they are fighting for justice or for tyranny. Dr. Morrison leaned forward, and his voice became gentle. Admiral, you were a good soldier once. You believed you were protecting civilization and bringing order to the galaxy. But look around you. Look at what the Empire has become. Is this the civilization you swore to protect? Zekthor looked at his bridge crew again. Many of them were from species the Empire had conquered. They served the Empire because they had no choice, not because they believed in it. What would happen to me if I surrendered? He asked. You would be treated with honor and respect. Your knowledge of Empire tactics would be valuable. But we would never force you to fight against your former comrades. You could help us build a better galaxy, or you could retire to a peaceful world and live in peace. And my crew, Any who choose to join us would be welcome. Any who choose to return to the Empire would be allowed to do so. We do not force loyalty, Admiral. We earn it. Zekthor was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked the question that had been bothering him for months. Why did you warn us not to attack Earth? You could have let us destroy ourselves through ignorance. Why give us a chance to leave peacefully? Dr. Morrison smiled sadly. Because humans know what it is like to suffer under tyranny, Admiral. We know what it is like to be conquered and oppressed. We did not want to inflict that suffering on anyone else, even our enemies. But we attacked you anyway. Yes, and we defended ourselves. But even now we are offering you a choice instead of simply destroying you. That is the difference between us and the Empire. The transmission ended, leaving Zekthor alone with his thoughts and his crew. Admiral, Veltar said quietly. What are your orders? Zekthor looked at the tactical display. His fleet consisted of only 12 ships, all damaged from recent battles. Across the galaxy, the Empire was losing ground every day, and here in the ruins of their greatest fortress, he was being offered a choice between hopeless war and honorable peace. Signal the fleet, he said finally. All ships are to stand down. Admiral? Veltar asked. Signal Earth. Tell them that Admiral Zekthor formally surrenders his fleet to the human-led alliance for a free galaxy. 3 hours later, human ships arrived to escort Zekthor's fleet to a safe port. As they traveled, Zekthor composed his final report to Empire High Command. It was brief and honest. To Empire High Command, from Admiral Zekthor, 7th Imperial Fleet Subject. Final report: the war against the humans cannot be won. They have united the galaxy against us, and they fight with a determination we cannot match. They keep their promises, whether those promises are warnings or offers of friendship. Recommendation: negotiate an immediate peace while the Empire still exists to negotiate. Personal note: the humans warned us not to attack them. We should have listened. Months later, Zekthor's report would become famous throughout the galaxy, not as a military document, but as a lesson about the price of arrogance and the power of keeping one's word. The Empire eventually fell, not through conquest, but through abandonment. As more and more systems chose freedom, the Empire simply ceased to exist. The human-led alliance helped each species build its own government and choose its own path. And throughout the galaxy, parents of every species would tell their children the story of Earth's first contact with the Empire, how the humans had warned their enemies not to attack them, how they had kept their promise to defend themselves, and how they had kept their promise to come for those who refused to listen. The galaxy learned that humans always kept their promises, even the ones that sounded like threats.